This is AfroEconomics Live, and tonight's topic is the top 10 financial fears, concerns, worries, however you describe it. We're going to solve it. So I am excited about just discussing some things that may be on your mind. What motivated you to take this moment to register and participate into this particular workshop was because there was something that you said, I want to make sure that I think about. There's something that I want to make sure that I just hear JB's opinion on this. So make sure that if you're in the webinar, if you're on the Facebook, AfroEconomics with JB Bryan Facebook actual page, make sure you put in a comment, because we're simulcasting, that you put in a comment or of a question, or you can email me at jb@afroeconomics.com. I'm just going to share some of the common things that I hear. I'm here because I love you. Oh my God, that's so positive. Thank you so much. And I love you as well. God is so good. I thank God for you and everything that you do for our community as well, our brother Andrew. Indeed. I'm glad that it saves that. I don't know where that went, but I'm just going to stop right now and meditate on that. I was joking. But positive encouragement is everything. My Facebook status for today says, submerge ourselves into an ocean of people that completely believe in you. And it's so true and makes a difference. So let's think about those top 10 financial concerns. Now, number 10, I'm going to go from the bottom and make sure that you, Ms. Monroe, good to see you participating. Make sure that you put in any financial concerns that I might say, might not think about along the way. So definitely head it off, Ms. Sherman, you as well. Mr. Piercy, Mr. Tice, thank you. Mr. Bowie, thank you. Ms. Moyer, thank you. All of you. Dr. Williams as well, thank you. So here we go. And oh my goodness, and all of you on the Facebook page as well, not being able to make a minimum credit card payment. I have that as number 10, not being able to make that minimum credit card payment, because as that credit card balance gets larger and larger, what used to be $25 or $50 as a minimum payment, I see minimum payments now. Sometimes people call and their minimum payment is almost $500-$600 on just the minimum payment. So, and then if you want to get the interest rate lower, a lot of times they'll lower your interest rate, but they'll increase your minimum payment. I saw that happen for a member. So let's keep it real, that is a financial concern. And a big part of membership is for me to get a look at interest rates, credit card balances, what you're paying, what the minimum payment is, and what your budget can actually allow for you to pay. Because I know it's probably a goal for many of you to pay them off. So you have to make sure that you do it in a reasonable way and you take care of all of your responsibilities. And a lot of that's about communicating and surrounding yourself with people that believe in you and want to help. So not being able to make that minimum credit card payment, a lot of that is just you sitting down and seeing where your money is flowing, getting that budget, get that book in the AfroEconomics workbook. I have a budget page in there. So if you're not able to join, you can just get the workbook or get the e-workbook. And so you can do the budget and just kind of see where your money is flowing. So that's real. And number 9, I have as not being able to pay the rent or mortgage. And on our poll right now, that is at not being able to pay the rent or mortgage is at 13%. That credit card is at 13% of you as well are saying that a major financial concern is that credit card, that number 2. And this number 9, not being able to pay rent or mortgage, 13%. But that started as 100%. But as more of you have been participating, it's come down a lot. So then number 8, paying for your child's education. 13% that as well. 13% credit cards, 13% child's education, 13% rent mortgage. Interesting, very interesting. Paying for your child's education. I don't want to make y'all mad, but you can accept this as one of my money mantras. I did that on CBS on Monday, was money mantras. But I'm going to tell you, just between us, I didn't put this one on television, but one of my money mantras is that you cannot get a loan for retirement. So if you can get a loan, they can get a loan for college, but you cannot get a loan for retirement. And your children over time will really appreciate you taking care of your standard of living during retirement. Not having a parent who's depending on you financially is one of the biggest gifts that you can give your child. So, right? Because retirement is not negotiable. You got to eat. But payments on school loans can be negotiated, even ignored. But so if you got to choose between maximizing your retirement plan or paying for a child's education, you got to make sure that you make some serious choices there. Like, am I sacrificing too much? Like, can they actually participate in this more and make them a better person? I've mentioned in previous workshops, my parents, without hesitation, made me pay for all of my college education. And you do it and you get it done and you pay off the loans, so, and I worked 3 jobs and got through. So it does happen. So, just be aware of when you do too much, the impact that it actually can have on your children and their understanding of who that education is really for as well. So number 8, the impact of the new tax laws. And I should have put that in the poll, like if you're concerned about the new tax laws and their impact on your tax return. So as I started the year, because those new tax laws came into effect at the end of the year, we may need to do another one on that, because I want to make sure that you realize that there are many things for you to take advantage of in this new tax law. And it's all about simplifying, not complicating your tax situation. So that worry can be knocked out easily by just focusing on tax planning through your AfroEconomics membership, looking at last year's tax return closely during one of our quarterly meetings, and then thinking about what you can take advantage of under the new tax return, under the new tax laws, and how they may help you, especially for those of you who do a Schedule C for a sole proprietorship. So then number 6, not being able to maintain your standard of living forever. That's what I put in the survey. And hey, that is the winner now. It has outpaced everything. Maintaining your standard of living forever is now at 56% of those participating in this AfroEconomics webinar have said that that is, of anything, their major financial concern. And I get that, because as an investment advisor, my main job is to make sure that your money lasts. I have clients that retired. It's amazing how things have changed. But in the 90s, people were retiring at 48, 49, 50 with 25 years, 30 years of service. Just crazy. Yes. And you don't see that now. You just don't see people retiring at 48, 50 years old and never working again. But I have probably near 100 clients that actually retired at those ages and never went back to work for anybody else. And it's a blessing. But that requires mostly commitment on their part to protect their money, to be disciplined, to stick to the plan, and how to make sure that their investments, even in this bad market, I mean, they've had some hard times in there. They've gone through the Great Recession. How do you get through that when the market is chewing up some of your money and you're withdrawing money? It takes a lot of discipline and dedication and very careful thought into what you are doing with your money and how you are going to spend it over time in order to maintain your standard of living. And you got to be careful about what you want your standard of living, because some people retire and they actually increase their standard of living. I've known some people retire and buy the biggest house that they ever had, creating the biggest mortgage payment they ever had during their retirement years. So we have to decide what you want your standard of living to be, because just because you retire doesn't mean that you want your standard of living to actually go down, right, Mr. Piercy? So let's look at, so number 6, not being able to maintain your standard of living. A real fear. A best solution to it is to start planning as soon as possible. That's the core of it. Comprehensive financial planning. And then insurance and medical expenses. The 5th financial concern, not being able to afford insurance once you retire and paying the medical expenses that are not covered by insurance. It's been interesting looking at clients when they turn 65 and they start the Medicare, and looking at all of the different, options with them, and seeing, how complicated that it can be, and how important your principle 10, your Black health and Black wealth, really is. And it's amazing, because what you do at 45 impacts how you live at 65, especially from a health perspective. So if you have a tremendous amount of health issues and more things are not covered by the insurance, so you have more that is going to be taken away from your retirement accounts just to cover uncovered medical expenses and deductibles. So it's real that we have to make sure that we take care of our health as much as possible. Take charge of it. That's a guaranteed return on your money. The healthier you are, the less you have to spend on those concerns. So that is real. Not being able to afford it, pay for it, and taking care of the deductibles and expenses. Several years ago, I looked at a study, and it was saying that on average, and that's before these changes in the medical system, that on average, people were spending about $250,000 on uncovered healthcare expenses. So that's even higher now, because that was before these healthcare changes. So let's see. Health insurance, 0% concern. But look, that's one of those things where you're not concerned, but maybe you should be. I'm just joking. I don't want you to be concerned about anything, because we're going to take care of that. And then having enough money for retirement, that's at 11%, and 11% having enough money for retirement, that's reasonable. Still maintaining a standard of living for your standard of living forever. That means that the majority of you like your standard of living. That's a blessing. That is indeed a blessing. That's what I love. That's what AfroEconomics is all about. So having enough for retirement, kind of is connected to that, but you couldn't choose both, but it's there. It's our second highest. It's in our second highest. Yes, indeed. So then job security. Job security, number 3. Job security, 0 in our poll. I know, I'm loving that y'all got these good jobs. I still have only 75% of you have voted. So that means 25% of our participants have no financial concern. Now I'm so glad. That's right. You're just here because you want to share in the financial empowerment. I love it. So the job security is, to make sure that let's think of a solution to a fear of job security, or a feeling like I might lose this job, or I hate my job, something like that, or, is to keep your skills up to date. Ask for a raise during great economic times like we're in right now. Leave and switch jobs. So make sure that you do what you have to do in order to solve that fear of this job is not that secure. In reality, I feel that we really shouldn't feel that any job is just secure. No, that our security is really what we create. And I believe that we create real security, not through the job, but through how we take care of financial things at home, so that we're not as concerned, like having that 3 to 6 months of emergency fund available, having the savings that you need, so that if you do lose your job, then you can easily get another job within that 90-day period. And how will you easily get another job? Because we have our skills on point, we got our resume updated, we're networking, we're communicating with people, we know what's going on, you are out and about in your industry, correct? So we can knock job security out as a concern. And then paying debts, daily and monthly bills, normal monthly bills as a concern. And the paying your monthly bills, nobody had that concern right now. That means we are doing a good job. But again, you can only choose one, and you got 25% that are chilling. And then school loans as number one. School loans are probably, how dare I say probably, school loans are the biggest concern. School loan payments are the biggest concern that I get in my office when I hear people call. And I'm not talking about young people. I'm talking about people of all ages. I'm talking about people at retirement age who cannot retire because of their own school loans that still need to be paid. Not to mention, you still have, other family members, because they're making parents get the plus loans now. And my strategy is, once they graduate, hand them the payment book. That's their degree. That's why you work. No, you paid it forward. You paid it forward. At some point, they should have to pay, we have to pay it back. It's like, so if somebody else invests in your company, you have a company, they invest in it because they believe in you. You believe in them. Hey, you got to pay it back. Got to pay back them dividends, So it's amazing. That's a way to look at it. But you have, if it's a concern, because we can include that in your budget, and that one of your major things that you want to do, that's what it's about. It's about what you want to do. What is important for you as your legacy? What is what you've always wanted to do? If that's something that you've always wanted to do, the earlier we plan for you paying for your children's education, the better that it will be, right? It's just, but if you haven't planned for it, then, and you wish that you could, but you know that you have all of these other things that you need to take care of, because so many people are sandwiched, meaning they have to take care of their parents as well as take care of their kids. So they have this huge challenge of, I got to plan for tomorrow for this kid, but I got to feed my parents right now. That's real. And it's more real for the Black family than other families. When you look at the research, we're more likely to be in a sandwich situation where we're taking care of parents and our own children. So be very aware of, the earlier you start planning, the earlier you address any financial concern that you have, any fear. We have to lean into it. We have to address it. Get the professional assistance and help that you need to address it, to attack it, not to destroy it, not to throw it away. I don't believe in trying to find things that are going to give you a quick solution. Like, I can show you how to get rid of all of this, and they can show you how to get rid of all of that. That it typically, anything that is just too good to be true, generally it is. It's like, a diet plan that says you're going to lose 20 pounds in a week. what in the world would you have to do in order to make that possible? You know what I'm saying? So what are the risks involved in things? If you have any of these fears and you want to solve them, it's going to take time and commitment for us to build that. You have to take that time and commit to, I want to get in AfroEconomics. I want to do a comprehensive financial planning membership so that I'm consciously looking at my budget and I have JB assisting me along that way. That I'm consciously thinking about how do I create right now a plan to make sure that I maintain my standard of living forever. And I argue that we need to position ourselves to improve our standard of living all the time. That it's okay for us to say that next year, this time, I want to be living even better. Next year, this time, I want to have more money invested, more money saved, more properties over here. I believe that we can do that. But when we're in a place of fear and doubt, we can't really think about, wow, this could be better than this. But once you change your mindset that I'm actively taking these steps to improve my standard of living, at minimum, maintain it, because we have to really focus on improving it just to make sure that you're maintaining, because the cost of living is consciously always going up, subconsciously going up, but it is indeed, the cost of things are going up. Yes, indeed. So just the little things, the cost of little things are just going up. Filling up my car a year ago was $20 cheaper than it is today. That's real. So we need to be making $20 more a day this year. Are you doing it? That's the kind of stuff we need to think about, how to make that happen, how to increase our income. A huge financial fear, really, that we're not really thinking about. All of these are based on, making sure that we have multiple sources of income, having additional income, growing income, how to make sure. And I guess that's why 56% of you said maintaining standard of living forever, because it's an option. That's interesting when you think about it. Polls that we listen to are limited to the questions that they ask the people when they answer it. If I had asked you, do you want to increase your standard of living? It might have outpaced maintaining. So, we're limited by what is asked of us. So I'm going to say that our number one financial goal, and that's going to wash away all of our fears, is to make sure that we focus on a plan to increase our standard of living. Increase our standard of living so that we can maintain it forever and be happy, have a happy, full, financially healthy life. We can do it. Any questions before I go? You all have been great. The participation has been wonderful. Tomorrow, I want Tyrell to call all of you and make sure that if you are not a member today, that you have a complimentary consultation to go over any of these fears that you have. If you are a member, make sure that we are meeting at least once a quarter. If we need to do your kickoff, make sure you help me make sure that you get kicked off properly. That's the power meeting, is at minimum 2 hours that we're committing. Even if it takes us a while to do that 2 hours, that we have to make sure that we get that time in. If that 2 hours ends up being 10 hours in order to get you set up properly, then that's what we've got to do. We got to use calls and technology and screen share and whatever we've got to do. So don't forget, also, members, Friday at 9 a.m. Friday at 9 a.m., our members only meeting. Thank you, Mr. Piercy. Yes, indeed. Thank you. You all have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful evening. Enjoy the rest of the week. And we'll have another webinar on Sunday. And we have the Friday members only. Any questions that you want to ask me privately, email jb@afroeconomics.com. Be blessed, enjoy, and be fearless.